All right, so that is pretty much dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, actually, we're going to mix up a bit of an orange. So if we look at this, you'll see that it's more of an orangey red than a red, and I'll show you the difference. So if I take my red here, can you see the difference? So I just prefer the orangey red, so I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to mix up a dark orange. And we're going to paint that in. So it's okay if it's more orange right now than it is red, because we will highlight with the red. So you'll see that my paint still isn't dry, and it's mixing with the color underneath. So I'm just going to give it one coat, and I'll let it dry. So still pretty funny looking, right? Easy to go, I'm not sure how I feel about this, but keep going, okay? Downward part of the roller coaster. So I'm going to use red paint, and I hope that you guys will be able to see this. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect here, and I'm going to give him a bit of a bigger belly. Okay, now for his head, we're going to come up like so, and down on a bit of an angle, and then connect to the back like that. Okay, so you'll see that shape. Then for the other guy over here is the same idea. You're gonna come. Do you remember those Russian dolls, how they had no necks? This is kind of the exact same shape. So we're gonna come down the side of his face here, back for that, and connect. Okay, and you can fill those in. Still not dry yet, so I gotta wait some more time to do that. So you'll see that I'm using red as opposed to orange, and we're gonna actually highlight with some red, so you'll see how it all come together. The tail feathers come right behind that branch. So I might even have them peek out a little bit behind there. And then, because this bird's kind of more facing that way, the tail feathers are going to come from the back of the body, just more so like this. Okay, now we don't want it to just end like that, so we want these quick little flicks down. All right, guys, so we've given it some time to dry and we're gonna come back and do another coat of paint on it, okay? Because you'll see that it's quite streaky, so we're just gonna brush over top again. I'm still sticking with that orangey color because when I start to highlight, it'll be a lot easier to do that with the red. There's one very chubby bird. All right, so there are our birds. So what we're going to do is we are going to build them up by creating some shadows. I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of blue and I'm gonna mix up that blue with my red to give me kind of this dark reddish purple. Okay, and I'm gonna start towards the bottom here and I'm just gonna come up the side. So I'm lightly brushing so that I'm blending and I'm still doing it while it's wet because that's the time that you want to do it so that you can blend all the colors together. So just the back side of his body, the back side of his head. And this guy is just going to have more darkness around the bottom of his belly. Okay. This is going to change too once we give them an outline. All right. So for this bird, I'm just going to add a little bit more red. All right. So far, we're going to take our tiny little brush, black paint, okay, and we're going to start to outline. So I want to give him a beak before we go any further. So I'm going to come to the side of his face and give him a beak. So it's the center and more on an angle. I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of blue and I'm going to mix up that blue with my red to give me kind of this dark reddish purple. Okay, and I'm going to start towards the bottom here and I'm just going to come up the side. So I'm lightly brushing so that I'm blending and I'm still doing it while it's wet because that's the time that you want to do it so that you can blend all the colors together. So just the back side of his body, the back side of his head. And this guy is just going to have more darkness around the bottom of his belly. Okay. This is going to change too once we give them an outline. All right. So for this bird, I'm just going to add a little bit more red. All right. So far, that is what it looks like. Okay. We're going to take our tiny little brush, black paint, okay, and we're going to start to outline. So I want to give him a beak before we go any further. So I'm going to come to the side of his face and give him a beak. So it's the center and more on an angle. And this bird is also going to have a beak, so it depends. Do you want them kissing or just talking closely? And you're going to put that there, okay? And so we're going to let that dry. And we're going to add the frame around his face. We're going to come straight across and down right at the corner of his beak. We'll come back and add this circle right here for his eye. And then we're going to add just a little bit right underneath his beak. Okay, same thing over here, across and down underneath. We're gonna do 2 circles, like so. And then we're gonna start to give them an outline. So this is a really loose outline. Okay, now we're just gonna do the outside. Now I'm gonna add some more kind of loose, curvy lines. So you want some of them being shorter, some being a little bit longer. And then we're gonna add a wing right here. So we're gonna do a curved line like so, and then add a few little small lines around it. Okay. And then for this outline, I want you guys to be able to see me outlining. And I might even make his face a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit. give him a wing right on the side here. And a few curved lines around his body, inside his wing, and now I'm going to come right back and fix up my branch. And I'm going to mix up a light orange. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to the orange that I mix up. And I'm going to just fill in their beaks. So if you have a hard time with the red showing through, you can paint it white first, let that dry, and then come back in and add your orange. Okay? You're going to flip the end of your tiny brush around, take it, dip it in white, and then we're just going to create these little eyeballs. So you don't have to do that. That might look, you might think that's cute, you might think that's creepy. You can dim it out. I probably wouldn't put eyeballs, but that's just me. And now we're going to add just a little branch here and another one there. So I hate to say it, but this picture has snow. So I'm going to take white and I'm just going to, a little tiny brush, a very loose line. Being careful if you just did the black because that's still going to be wet. Just a loose white line on some of the areas. You can take your brush, the big one, flip it around, same idea, dip it in white. You can just add some dots of snow. Should be more of a spring painting, I think, and a sunny background. Right? And then we're gonna do the same. I'm gonna dip this in red, and I'm gonna add these little berries on the tree. So you can add as many as you like. You can switch it up, and with a small little brush, you can add a few more. So then the only thing left is just to fix up his beak. Ooh, smudge. And there we have it. Your very own masterpiece. So you can take your name, take a small brush, and you can sign it. Maybe not that thick, but you get the point. So there we have it, your very own masterpiece. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned for next week as we have some more projects for you. If you have any comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comment box and I'll see them. So if there's anything you're looking to learn, let me know. You can also check out my website, kindheartedstudio.ca, for some more videos, kids programs, and art therapy and meditation. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.